Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening, South Shabbat class, 24th of August, 2024. Okay. The title inside the room is CAPHTOR Son of HAM. We're going to go into that and break it down and explain how the significance of this son of CAPHTOR and where he is in the scripture. You can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can examine. Check out the information, okay? And these videos will connect dots for you and lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. We have our Cash App running across the bottom for anybody that feel the need to support the channel. That too would be appreciated. And our hours of operation is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 7 to 9 Central Time p.m. Then we have our Men's Advanced Bible Study night on Friday nights. It's from 7 to 9 Central Time, but it's on Clubhouse. And the name of the room is Non-Messianic Conversations. And we have 2 classes on the Shabbat, one in the morning, 10 till 12 a.m. Central Time. Then we close out the Sabbath on Sabbath on us from 6 to 7 in the evenings Central Time. So in one of those time frames you want to check out our live broadcast, you can. Okay, so with that being said, this is a non-Messianic conversation channel. If you, for those that don't know, we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer, the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Shabbat class. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, we read the Psalms, and then we have some current events, some need-to-know information. Then we'll go into our Q&A and dialogue. And then we go to the topic, which is, I said earlier, is CAPHTOR Son of HAM. We're going to break that down. Okay, it's a moment of silence for the Lord of Hosts and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay, so Lord, we come this day, bow down, honoring you and praising you and believing in you. And we thank you for your wisdom and knowledge that you have poured out upon us. And we see you now within the Holy Scriptures, O Lord, and we trust you with all our heart and all our soul. Keep not that silence any longer, but shine forth on our enemies with our great power and our great glory. Peace be unto you, okay? So with that being said, I'll read the Psalms. Okay. Okay, I'll read Psalms 59. It's a prayer for deliverance. It says, deliver me from my enemies, O my God. Defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity. Save me from bloody men. For lo, they lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me, not for my transgressions, nor for my sins, O Lord. They run and prepare themselves without my fault. Awake to help me, and behold, thou therefore, O Lord God of hosts, God of Israel, awake to visit all the heathens. Be not unmerciful to any wicked transgressors. Selah. They returned at evening. They make a noise like a dog, and they go round about the city. Behold, they bleach out with their mouth, swords are in their lips. For who say they doeth hear? But thou, O Lord, shall laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathen in derision. Because of his strength will I wait upon thee, for God is my defense. The God of my mercy shall prevent me. God shall let me see my desires upon my enemies. Slay them not, lest my people forget. Scatter them by thy power, and bring them down, O Lord, O God, our shield. For the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride, and for cursing and lying which they speak. Consume them in wrath, consume them that they may not be, and let them know that God ruleth in Jacob unto the ends of the earth, Selah. And at evening let them return, and let them make a noise like a dog, and go round about the city. Let them wander up and down for meat, and gorge, if they be not satisfied. But I will sing of thy power, yea, and I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning, for thou hast been my defense and the refuge in the day of my trouble. Unto thee, O my strength, will I sing, for God is my defense and the God of my mercy. So that was Psalms 59, right? And it says it's a prayer for deliverance. So what I want to shine light on was David says, below, they lay in wait for my, this verse 3, Psalms 59 and 3. Below that, they lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me, not for my transgressions, nor for my sin, O Lord. So when you understand that soul is in the body, you got the body and soul. The body, flesh houses the soul. That's how he created us. So what David is saying is, these are these wicked spirits that Enoch told us about. It's waiting on that when these giants died, because of how they came about. It was an angelic being that left his first estate, came to the earth, slept with a human woman, and got a giant. So the spirit is in that giant, didn't come from heaven. So when those giants died, that was the purpose that he created hell. It's for those, when they die, their spirit goes down on the earth, down to in hell. So he's saying that these wicked spirits are waiting for him to die. They're waiting on his soul. But when he lived his life out on earth and passed away, in his soul, they waiting on him for him to leave the body. And so we know, I take you to that verse all the time, to Daniel, I mean not Daniel, but 2 Samuel 22, when David passed away, those wicked spirits tried to hold him here and take him down into Sheol. And he called the Lord, and he came and scattered them, and he brought David soul up to heaven where it belonged. But that's what he's talking about. They waiting, they lie in wait, waiting on him for when his time comes and he departs the body. So he says, verse 3, Psalms 59:3 says, for lo, that's these wicked spirits, lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me. The mighty, that's the Genesis 6. Men begin to multiply on the face of the earth. The angels came down and saw the women as they fell. They went into them. Giants were born. Mighty men. That's what he's talking about right here. Although thy lay in wait for my soul, the mighty. That's the soul of these mighty men. Spirit of these mighty men. The mighty are gathered against me for my transgression. Not for my transgression. So not whether he's doing wrong or right, nor for my sins. They want him. That's who he is. He's the Messiah. So they want to destroy him. Their soul. Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay. So with that being said, let's go to some current events.
in a very scary situation. And today I want to address why this is and what the big news was that came out today that is actually causing many people to say that this is great, but this could be the worst news ever. So I'm going to break down what is going on at this time, what happened just today, and what this means for you and I moving forward. So make sure you watch this entire video, and I'll break all of this down in just a moment. But all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So what just happened today that is causing many people to just be so excited that the economy is turning around and everything will be just fine? Well, it's this. The Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell indicated that interest rate cuts are ahead. He says the time has come for policy to adjust. Now, we're going to dive into that in just a second. But here's the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention. People are thinking that this is the best news ever, that this is going to cause the economy to turn around, right? We aren't going to see a recession. We won't see layoffs. We won't see hard times. Well, let me read you a couple comments really quick, and then we're going to touch on some of the key points of this article. But this is what one person said to me just this morning. This person writes and says, and I quote, "Finally, the good news that we have all been waiting for. With the Fed today saying that they will cut rates, this is going to make everything so much cheaper." Now, will it? No. With the Federal Reserve coming out saying they're going to cut rates, this will likely mean that in the future, things could become a little bit less expensive, or we aren't seeing as much inflation. But are we going to see disinflation or actually deflation and things become cheaper? Most likely not. Now, I know this person's probably talking about real estate and mortgages, but historically, when you cut rates, prices for homes are supposed to go up, not go down. The only reason why homes are expected to go down is because we are likely going to dip into a recession, which we will see additional layoffs and we will see more pain. I want to read this other comment to you. Listen to this. This person says, and I quote, "My husband and I have been waiting to buy a bigger house for the past 2 years, and hopefully we can do that now that rates are dropping. Any advice for a first-time home buyer while we wait for rates to come down to our satisfaction?" Well, if you are waiting for interest rates on a home to come down to that 2 to 3% range, well, you'll be waiting for a very long time, and it may not happen again in your lifetime. But look at this. This is where rates are right now, okay? This is actually as of yesterday, August 22nd, but rates for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage are 7.07%. For a VA, you're looking at 6.68%. And you can see down here kind of how it's been trending over the past couple months, all right? So we're up here. Let's just say you live in California, whatever, right? Let's just look at your monthly payment, okay? So let's look at that. Now, if the loan amount, let's say, is $700,000, okay? 30-year fixed rate mortgage, currently rates are, let's just say 7%, okay? So there's 7%, let's get rid of this. 7%, that is what you're looking at. A payment of $4,657. Now here's where things get interesting. We are going to see interest rates drop. That's what the Federal Reserve has already said, okay? Let me read this to you, just so you kind of get an idea. It says, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell laid the groundwork Friday, which is today, for interest rate cuts ahead, though he declined to provide exact indications on timing or extent. Says, the time has come for policy to adjust. This is what he said in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, okay? Says, in addition to assessing the current state of play, Powell took considerable time in the speech to evaluate what led to the surge of inflation. Now, we're not going to get into that just yet. Here's the reason why, okay? We are, again, when you cut rates, you usually see more hiring. Businesses are pretty much willing to develop and do some research, right, to expand and grow. Because if you have low interest rates, you can take out these loans.
I was 17 years old
you're going to save about $100. Okay, $100, but you spend $25,000 more. Yeah, that's where things are at. So, just want to share this with you because again, I think this is very interesting. That as we kind of go into these next few months and an election, we're going to see rates drop. That's good, but rates are going to drop. But the problem is the federal government, the Fed cannot lower rates too aggressively because if they do, it's going to cause additional inflation. So they have to come in, be very strategic as to how quickly they lower rates. If they don't, we'll get additional inflation and more hard times will be coming. So I just wanted to leave you with that. If you have any questions regarding...
Okay, any comments on that? Okay, here we go.
Black agenda ain't no joke.
Right on. These parties are telling us to vote, and we can't stand for that.
That's right.
We have to stand here and say we demand reparations. We have to stand here and say we demand the end of the genocide in Palestine.
That's right.
We have to stand here and demand the end to the school to prison pipeline. We will not tolerate what America has been giving us for all these years.
They told Malcolm, shut up.
Right on.
They told Malcolm, don't raise your voice in a critique of the two-party system.
Come on.
They told Malcolm, don't criticize American foreign policy given the vicious imperialist expansion in Africa, be it coordinated with Britain and Ghana and many other places. And what did Malcolm do? He followed the anthem of black people, which is lift every
Voice and sing.
Yeah.
Right on.
Malcolm lifted his voice. He wasn't an echo.
Come on.
He got too many echoes in the conventions.
Right on. Right on.
Right.
Malcolm said, I will start with loving black people.
Come on.
I will start focusing on the plight of black people. And yes, we will be in solidarity with our Palestinian brothers.
Absolutely.
Of course, we'll be in solidarity with our Haitian black brothers and sisters in the Congo, in Sudan, in Brazil. They can be Irish in Britain if they're being colonized. I stand with them. But you start on the chocolate side of town.
Right on.
Brother. That's why this black agenda ain't no joke.
Right on.
Israel gets my check. What my check?
Say that.
Israel gets checks. Ukraine, that man came in our backyard, bro. Came in our backyard to Congress and said, give me that reparations check. And I've been standing in line for how long? For 400 years. Israel gets my check.
Right on. No black agenda.
No.
No black agenda.
No.
No black agenda.
No.
We have to keep bringing up the same issue year after year after year. Reparations.
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 We want to make America great. Let me tell you where you start. You can start with reparations. We are talking about justice.
Come on.
You can't tell black America you ain't got the money, it's going to bankrupt the country. We saw how much money you came up with for COVID.
Come on.
We see how much money you sending to Israel.
You see it.
We see how much money you just send to Ukraine.
Come on, bro.
But you can't even take care of the citizens and the descendants of these descendants, the descendants of child slavery and Jim Crow who built this country.
That's right.
My request to white America, if you really want to be brothers and sisters, we have to deal with this issue. Jews didn't come out of the Holocaust talking about voting rights. They came out of the Holocaust and they said, we want reparations.
Reparations.
Land and cash is what they got. Why won't you do it for us?
How about welfare?
Welfare is not reparations.
Come on.
Reparations is reparations.
Land and money.
We can start there. We have a presidential candidate, and Dr. West He is the only one talking consistently about reparations. Come on. Why are we acting like we don't hear the answer when it's right in front of us? Reparations is the answer, my brothers and sisters.
Reparations.
When we get reparations, we'll truly see what this America can be. We've got to see its full potential because of reparations.
Yes, sir.
But it's a new day. You won't fool us with holidays and empty apologies. It's a new generation because we got nothing now.
We want deliverables.
We want deliverables. We
I
want the
need
black
something I
agenda.
can touch.
Come on.
Because if I wreck your car, if I abuse you, you're going to want some compensation for that. If I take your car and I give it to my son, and my son still give it to his son, and his son that's still your car. That's what y'all did to our land. Let's make America great again, sure. But we can start with reparations.
Reparations.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
As my brother said, reparations. So the Jewish people went as a people. We need to go as a people, Afro-descendants. So I'm asking, demanding that the United States of America, everyone in that government who knows that we are Afro-descendants, to let our people know here in this country who we are. Because we are so divided as a people. But we can be an indigenous Afro-descendant. We can be an African-American Afro-descendant. We can be a Hebrew Israelite Afro-descendant.
Yes, indeed.
All of those, so we are the same. We're the same people. I shared this definition at the end, third session of the permanent forum on people of African descent. I want to share it just the way that I shared it. This is the term that I'm asking, that we are asking the men and the UN to accept for us, to distinguish us as those people who came from enslaved ancestors, so that we won't get mixed in with everybody else. So the term Afro-descendants refers to descendants of people who were forcibly dispossessed of their homeland, Africa, were transported to the Americas and slavery diaspora for the purpose of enslavement, were subjected to slavery, were subjected to forced mixed breeding and rape, have experienced through force the loss of mother tongue, culture, and religion. I cannot even utter my mother tongue. I don't even know what it is. Absolutely not. Or was. And or have experienced racial discrimination due to lost ties or partially lost ties from our identity.
Yes, indeed.
That is the definition that we want the world to know and accept for Afro-descendants.
Right.
And we are not spelling Afro-descendant hyphenated. We are not a hyphenated people.
Amen.
We are together in unity with one another.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Guys, we're here to present the Black Agenda 2024, a real vision for change and opportunity for Black Americans.
This is not just a set of demands, but a roadmap for a better future, where equality, equity, and justice are not just ideals, but realities.
Our economic policies aim to address historical injustices through lineage-based reparations, support for small businesses, a higher, fairer minimum wage, and opportunities for those who are re-entering society.
Okay. Any comments on that? That's supposed to be the Black Agenda for 2024. Okay. Got some need to know information right here.
Got a fantasy draft coming up? Here's what you're missing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I have the story I'm going to share with you all, and I think it's very important in this hour. Give me just one moment here. I hope you all are going to pay attention. You may have seen the story on Dr. Richie's channel. I'm going to share it here again. And of course, I'm calling this a warning, asking the question, why can't y'all learn? If you have sons, if you have nephews, grandsons, brothers, uncles, it doesn't matter. Things like this are the things that have historically got our men red-rummed. So I'm going to get into this story in just a moment. I'm going to ask that you all who are joining us live, if you would consider sharing the broadcast so that others can tap into the conversation as well right along with us. This is a time in our history, so-called Black people, where we've got to start paying attention and tightening up on all of our loose ends. The Bible says that the devil goes about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And it also warns us of the fiery darts of the wicked. The fiery darts of the wicked, they are aimed at you. And if you are not up for the fight, you will not see it coming. I'm really surprised that in this day and time, our people seem not to get it. They just don't get it. And they're taking too many risks for the joys of sin that only last a season. These risks are not worth it. These risks are not worth it. I'm going to be sharing with you a story of a Black man. He almost lost it all. If it were not for audio and video that saved this man's life, he would be finished right now. He would be finished because his white female neighbor told a horrendous lie on him, one that could have ended his freedom for a very long time. So I'm going to get into this story after I share it. I'm going to try not to keep you all too long. I'm going to share it and then we will be on our way. Again, if you have sons, we have to start being more active in telling our children what's going on in this world. I feel like many of us have become docile. We don't want to give them the full story. We don't want to give them the real story. For whatever reason, we feel the need to protect those who have harmed us for a long time. And it's strange behavior to me, very strange behavior, that we are trying to protect those who have harmed our people for a very long time. The truth is what it is, whether we like it or not. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get into this story. Like I said, I'm not going to be before you too long. I don't want to take up too much of your time this evening. I just want to share this story because it did come across my radar. Thank you to the viewer who shared this with me. And this to me is ridiculous because, again, too many of our people have closed their eyes to the realities that we face in this country and we face for a very long time. None of this stuff is new, but we act like we're out of the woods to where we can just start to do things that we were historically prohibited from doing. So anyway, let's get into this story. This is on Atlanta Black Star. It says the audio and video saved your life. Black man was accused of raping his white neighbor. He used home surveillance cam to beat charges. He is now suing her and police for false arrest. It says a Black man has filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city of Manville, Texas, and his police officers, claiming that he was falsely arrested for, assaulting, okay, his white neighbor. This is not a laughing matter. I'm just, kind of chuckling at the censorship we have to do for ourselves. During a gathering to celebrate his new home. Says, according to the complaint filed in U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas this week, on November 9th, 2023, Manville resident John Marks, 40, and his friend Freddie Douglas Jr., 43, two black men, y'all. They both had consensual sex in Mark's pool with Amanda Bizarre, whatever her name is, a woman who lived nearby and with whom Marks said he had carried on an intimate relationship for several months. She is also named in the lawsuit. Zar, whatever her name is, filed a police report a week later claiming she was held against her will with both men doing whatever she's claiming to her on attempting to grape her over a several-hour time period that night and into the next morning, reported the El Campo Leader News. A court affidavit stated all three had been drinking and that the assault took place with the woman saying no and having to physically fight Douglas off of her. Okay, so let me just stop right there for a minute. Don't our people learn? Can't they learn? Can't they learn? Can't they learn? Mr. Will. Knowing good and well she wanted to be there. So it says felonies that can result in prison sentences from 5 to 99 years. Isn't that something? Douglas was also arrested and fired from his job as a police detective in El Campo. Both men were jailed and released on bond, protesting their innocence. So, okay, so you're protesting your innocence. Why on earth did you put yourself in this ignorant situation in the first place? The reason why I'm saying ignorant, you are ignoring history. In this country, there's a history of these or certain women putting a lie on a man's name when they know good and well that they were there by consent.
Okay, comment? Got any comments on that? Okay, like she said before, that's a common occurrence pretty much every day. So how can you find yourself in that predicament, especially with the environment that's out there now, with these white nationalists rising up? That's the last place you need to be at, dealing with them. Okay, so we'll open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions, comments about anything? Women's night, men's night. Anybody have any comments, questions about anything that was discussed? Any information? Okay, anybody have any questions? I thought this right here was pretty interesting because of Isaiah chapter 44, 1 through 5. I'm always reading it. And our God over Israel promised us that he would wake us up in the last days. So in order to wake us up, that means that everything we were dealing with up to that point had to be lies. And so we see that kind of came to a head really right around 10 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. It's to the point now where it's blossoming. So check this out.
Begin in 2014? Was this the time prophesied in Scripture when Yahuwah's people would return to him into their land? Since then, many significant events have unfolded, and today we find ourselves in unprecedented times where the world seems to be spiraling into chaos and confusion. Yet, amid this turmoil, a powerful, unstoppable movement is taking place, a spiritual awakening like never before. This great awakening is shaking the very foundations of the earth as the chosen people of Yahuwah begin to open their eyes to profound spiritual truth.
Like I said, Isaiah 44 verses 1 through 5.
Reclaim their Hebrew heritage and return to the covenant that was made with their forefathers. Have you noticed the growing shift in the world today? people are rejecting false teachings, returning to the scriptures, and seeking to understand their true heritage as the people of Yahuwah. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a sign that we are in the midst of the Great Awakening, a movement that is transforming lives and drawing people back to the ancient paths. The world interest in Hebrew identity is on the rise, with many building bridges to Africa, reconnecting with the land and their roots. As the prophet Zechariah foretold, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the land of the east and from the land of the west. I will bring them back, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. They shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim in truth and righteousness. Zechariah 8 verses 7 to 8. This prophecy is unfolding before our very eyes as people across the world are awakening to their true identity and returning to the covenant they have with Yahuwah. The Great Awakening began in America, where the spark of spiritual revelation first ignited, leading to a profound awakening among the descendants of the Israelites. As this movement gained momentum, it spread to other nations, crossing borders and cultural divides, awakening hearts and minds in every nation. Today, people are becoming more aware of the true identity of the Israelites and who the children of Yahuwah truly are. This worldwide awakening is not merely a social or cultural phenomenon, it is the fulfillment of ancient prophecies. Yahuwah promised the Israelites that he would one day restore his people to their true identity and their heritage. But before this great awakening, there was a long period of spiritual slumber, where many had lost touch with the true way of Yahuwah. This slumber was marked by a deep spiritual darkness, where people embraced false doctrines, held onto worldly distractions, and strayed far from the path of righteousness and truth. This spiritual slumber was not a mere accident. It was the result of an ongoing spiritual battle, where the forces of darkness worked relentlessly to keep the Israelites blind to the truth of who they are and who they belong to. The enemy knows that if people remain asleep and not knowing their true identity and the power of Yahuwah, they could be kept in a...
Yeah, notice he said the powers and spirits of darkness, or the powers of darkness, when that's part of it, but it's a race of people on the earth that has caused us to lose our way. The Lord of hosts allowed them to do it, but they like I was saying before, they want to word this in a way where got you thinking that you're fighting against these so-called Satan or these wicked spirits, but it's people, like the Most High said in 2 Samuel, that he's going to return this. He told David, he promised that he's going to bring his people to the land, plant them, and the children of wickedness, that's a seed line that's on the earth. Children of wickedness will not afflict them anymore. Then you go to Daniel, and Daniel tell us about the transgressors. So what do you mean? Transgressors is a race of people on the earth. They're transgressors. The first one was Cain, killed his brother Abel. Then he left, went to the land of dark soil, got a wife, and he got a lineage on the earth. That's the transgressor. They want you, they even gave us another definition of what that is. But it's just some wicked race of people that ain't gonna never do right. They didn't come from him. They came from when the fallen angels came down, when the serpent came in the garden.
Silent sleep state and never rise to fulfill their divine purpose. As the Apostle Paul urged in Romans 13 verse 11, he said this, and do this, knowing the time, that now it is high time the world begins to recognize the...
One of those pounds I have here,
Yahuwah's people and his divine plan. This awakening is not just about personal transformation, but is part of Yahuwah's greater plan to restore his people and bring them back to their land.
And find out who they are. That's what the purpose of it is. So when the people get that wrong, yeah, it's about land and about who we are as the people, but the main thing is like the scripture saying, when you read it, return back to him. So if you want to return back to him, You got to find out who he is. The whole awakening is about returning back to your God. You know, it's all fine and dandy. You find out who you are, but he's been denigrated. These wicked ass people have denigrated him, took him out of the equation. And that's the objective. The reason he's waking us up is to bring us back to the realization and understanding who he is. That's what being a Hebrew is all about. Okay, so with that being said, any comments, questions on that before we go into the lesson? If I got any questions, comments? Okay, like I said, the topic of discussion is, we dealt with this last night from pretty much from another perspective. I'm coming from a different perspective, have some of the same information, but a different perspective. And the reason being is we was on Clubhouse last night. This is a whole different platform. So I'm coming from YouTube now, that's right, StreamYard, so this information can cover a greater area. So that's why I'm doing this. So anyway, the title inside the room is CAPHTOR Son of HAM. So I want to show you who that is for a part of this video. Then I want to go to scriptures, shine a light on some things. But first I want to show you this. So if you go to Genesis chapter 10. Like I said, in the process of doing this, just from the information being revealed and broken down, you can see the lies in the misguidance. So I'm in Genesis chapter 10. It says it's the Ham, Shem, and Japheth, right? Supposedly Noah's sons. Let me get it. So it says, we see in verse 1, chapter 10, verse 1, it says, now these are the generations of Shem, of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them sons were born after the flood. And I'm sort of multitasking, so I'm revealing who Ham is, and at the same time, like I said before, Ham is the 6th day man, and Japheth is out of Cain descendant. Shem is Noah's son, but they didn't mix it all together in order to, because of the lie they said that a man came, Jesus, to die for mankind. So now they merging all these people together, make it look like Noah came from Adam. So that means that Shem, Ham, and Japheth came from Adam, one blood. But that's so far from the truth. So anyway, we're gonna go. We see that it says Japheth got a lineage, which is 2 through 5. It says the sons of Japheth: Gomer, Magog, Midian, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus. The sons of Gomer: Ashkenazi, Riphath, Tomagog, and the sons of Javan: Elishah, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dedom. By these were the isles of the Gentiles. These are Gentiles, right? So how in the hell can Japheth be a Gentile, but Shem ain't? But they brothers. You know what I mean? Let that front make. It says, these are the tribes of the Gentiles, divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after his family, in their nations. So now we're going to get into the lesson, right? Who is this CAPHTOR, right? Verse 6. And the sons of Ham: Cush, Mizraim, Put, Canaan. And as I said last night, Mizraim, that's a giant. So right there, we know how you get a giant. So we know Mizraim ain't none of Ham's son. We also know that the Canaanites came out of, Canaanites are giants. And that when the spies went into the land, they saw the Canaanites, the Amorites, all these are giants. Said they was like grasshoppers unto them. So we can see right here, Canaan. That ain't none of Ham's son. And we know out of Cush, we get, so they say. To me, it's suspect, but they want to tell you that Cush is Noah's son, is Ham's son too, but Nimrod is a giant. He out of Cush. There ain't but one way to get a giant. Ham ain't no giant. So Cush, it says, verse 7, and the sons of Cush. See that? Sons of Cush. So all these boys that come out of Cush are grandsons of Noah, right? Sheba, Havilah, Sabbath, Sabbath, Rima, I can't say that name. And the sons of Rima, Sheba, right? That's the same Sheba that came. She came out of the same people right here that came to see Solomon. Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod. See that? And Nimrod began to be a mighty one in the earth. So if you go to Genesis 6, like I said, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair, came down, slept with them, and you get mighty men. So this is what Nimrod is, a mighty one in the earth. So he a giant. So Ham ain't none of his son daddy, right? 9, he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. We're gonna go into that in a minute. We're dealing with this captain. Wherefore it is said, even Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Iraq, Ashkad, Calneh, and the land of Shinar. And I revealed something last night too, that which is some need to know information. When you see that word Shinar, that's the same as Mount Hermon. And I'm gonna show you that in a minute. But anyway, so Shinar, Nimrod is associated with Mount Hermon. So we know right there that ain't none of his daddy. Ham ain't none of his daddy. But anyway, you keep going till verse 11. Out of that land, see that? Out of that land, remember that. Out of that land went forth Asher. Asher is tied to Adam's descendants, right? Asher. And built in Nineveh and the city of Ribah and Caleb and Rezin. Check it out. Rezin between Nineveh and Caleb, the same as that great city. So you say, what you talking about? It says, and Rezin, right? Between Nineveh and Caleb. We know what Nineveh is. That's what the 10 tribes was taken to, right? So it says in the book of Tobit, it's part of some of the information is there, but it says Rezin, right? Between Nineveh and Caleb. The same as that great city. So Rezin is the great city. It's between Nineveh and Caleb. So you say, why are you talking about that? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 7, right quick. These just some need to know information, nuggets, golden nuggets, right? So go to verse 7, chapter 7. Okay, and we see in chapter 7 of Isaiah, if you know anything about this, you know chapter 7 is what the plug they use. Isaiah 7:14. Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son and call his name Emmanuel. They took that right there, created JC, then they brought it over here and said, this is prophecy of JC being born. But this kid right here, name is Emmanuel. But anyway, Isaiah chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass, see this? Came to pass in the days of Ahaz. Ahaz is out of David's lineage of seed royal. It says Ahaz, the son of Jotham, son of Uzi, king of Judah, that Rezin. There go Rezin right there. See that? Rezin, king of Syria. Go right back to that great city that's over there I just read. Rezin, king of Assyria, and Pecan, the king of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but prevail not against it. So what they purpose is, verse 6. These two kings, one of them was out of Rezin. Take you back to chapter 10, which is dealing with Ham. So anyway, verse 6. Let us go up against Judah, vex it, right? That's what they did to us now with the New Testament. Vexed us. So it said, let us go up against Judah, vex it, and let us make a breach therein for us. So how you can make a breach in Israel? Get rid of the seed that the Most High got out of David that's on the throne. So they want to take Ahaz off the throne. But like I said before, look who's doing it. Rezin, king of Assyria, to go all the way back over here to Genesis chapter 10, verse 12. And Rezin, between Nineveh and Caleb, the same as that great city. Now we get into the part where I'm trying to get to, verse 13. Mezarine, this is one of the so-called sons of Ham, but this is a race of giants. So it says, Mezarine begot Ludum, and Anum, and Ludum, and all these giants, right? And they got descendants. Then 14 is where we going. Pezrim, and I can't say these names, Kashim, out of whom came the Philistines and Captorim. They go to the other word that we're looking for. So Captorim, he's the father of the Captorim. Captor is the father of the Captorims. He's a giant, and his descendants are giants. That's what the I am means. So from 13 to 20, giants. But they all, Mezarine is their father. He bring forth all of them. Just like I said, when Cain killed Abel, it says Adam went back to Eve and knew Eve, and then he had Seth in his likeness, in his image, and then that's how we get all the rest of them out of lineage, all the way to Noah. They came out of Seth. Same thing right here. From 13 all the way to 20, these giants. So what is the purpose of saying that? Mezarine. When you see Egypt in the Bible, that's where Egypt is. Mezarine. Mezarine is what it is. Not Africa or all of Africa. It's Mezarine. What these giants said is Egypt. Egypt is synonymous, is the same as when you see Egypt, you see Mezarine. And they giants. And like I just showed you, well, let's go there right quick. It says, chapter 11. Okay, I'm gonna read this because, like I said, it's the light being shined on Ham, right? It says, and CAPHTOR, right? His grandson of Ham, and so Ham ain't on his daddy because he's a giant. So it says, and the whole earth was one language, right? We done read this 1,000 times in Sunday school, BTU, right? And the whole earth was one language, one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. See that? Land. They found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. So where's Shinar? That's Mount Hermon. So this Nimrod. So Nimrod, the giant, and his daddy is an angel. So he being led back to the location where they came down there. Mount Hermon, laying up. That's what the Amorites said. We're gonna see that in a minute. So they didn't cyborg you right here by putting in the land of Shinar when it's Mount Hermon. So they going to find Mount Hermon, the area where the angels came down, where the angels dwelled there. That's why all these giants around there in chapter 10, from 13 to 20 is the location. Like I said, if you got a black man back in the day when they brought us over and he broke loose from the plantation and ended up in Indian village, and then you come to the village looking for him 15 years later and you start seeing all these little black kids running around there with afros, then the Negro in the tent somewhere, he ain't one of those tents. DNA don't lie. So it's the same right here. It's giants everywhere. So this what the angels came down there. And they made it a point to go to that land where they came down there. That's what we're looking at right here. But if they didn't throw us off with by saying Shinar instead of saying Mount Hermon. Okay? So I'm gonna keep going. Let me get it. Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah, it says, and it came to pass they journeyed from the east. Go back to the garden. Where's the garden of Eden at? East of Eden. That's what Mount Hermon at. East. Come on. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, Mount Hermon, and they dwelt there, right? And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had bricks for stone and slime, and they for mortar. And they said, go to, let us build us a city, right, and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So let's go back and look at this. So I broke this down in previous videos, how the man in Genesis 1:26. Let's go there right quick, because I'm gonna connect that dot in a minute. Let's go to Genesis 1:26, right? You're gonna see that this man in Genesis 1:26, right? He got a woman with him. This ain't none of Adam. It says Genesis 1:26, and God, right? We know that's Elohim, that's these 7 angels. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over cattle, over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, right? And then he says, 27, so God, Elohim, these 7 angels, created man in their image. In the image God created he them, male and female created he them. This ain't none of Adam, right? So you say, what are you talking about? If you backtrack and you understand about the book of Enoch, Yahweh, before they done this, Yahweh created the angels in his image, in his likeness. That's why they different than us. He's a spirit being. He created these angels, and so then they came down right here. Elohim, the angels, said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness, right? And so we know that if man got reproductive parts, then they got reproductive parts. We ain't made in their image, they made in our image. That's how they're able to come down in Genesis 6, sleep with women. We made in their image. They made in Yahweh image. But they don't understand that. So go back and you'll see that they said, let us go down to, let us build a city and a tower whose top reach unto heaven. Let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth. So why is they saying that? Right? Because that's a 6-day man. And these giants, they don't have no name. The man that's running the earth, got the meaning on the earth is Adam and his descendants. They don't have no name. We're going to see that in a minute. I'm going to read that. So they want to get a name for themselves, right? 5. And the Lord came down, Lord of hosts, came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their languages, that they may not understand one another's speech. So 8, so the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build a city. Therefore, the name of it is called Babel, because the Lord did that there, confound the language. Did it well at Mount Hermon. That's where they at. See that? Babel, same place. Therefore, the name is called Babel, because the Lord did there at Mount Hermon, this land they're looking for in the east. They found a land in the east, right there, confound the languages of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So we see right here, this is when it happened. So, but what I wanted you to understand, which I told you over and over again before, this King James ain't nothing but a rough draft. Because they don't go all the way in for you to get the meat of what's actually happened. Because if you do get the meat, you're gonna know the Most High don't have no damn son. What in the bosom or nowhere in Abraham's bosom. So they only give you a rough draft of what's happening because they're gonna tweak it and take you to the New Testament. So what I'm gonna do is go to where the meat at and read the same thing I just read, but with some meat on it. So I mean Genesis, like I said, remember we're dealing with CAPHTOR, right? Come to find out that matter of fact, let me do this first. Let me play a little bit of this video because it goes into a little bit about CAPHTOR too. So we play that first, then I'll read the other version with the meat in it out of Jasher. Here we go.
My name is Zach. Welcome back. If this is your first time, thank you for coming. And if you're coming back, I appreciate you rejoining. Today, I hope to earn your likes and subscriptions and shares if it's cool enough by putting to video the things I have not found on video, but I've only found deep hidden inside out of my head.
So let me explain this right quick before I play this. So I was talking about the other day about houses that the men in Israel. When you go to Genesis, Adam all the way to Noah, they got houses, and his children, is the woman, and all that consists of that man's house. There ain't no such thing as a woman got a house. So when Achan and his wife sinned at Ai, and they took those stuff and hid it in the tent, the Lord, the angel of the Lord, when you understand was the order, had them to pass all their houses, which means all the men had to pass before him so they can find out who it is that had took the gold and stuff and hid it in their tent. So he passed them through by their houses. Well, that was the purpose. When you go to Jude, and these angels decided to come together, and 200 come down to the earth. They wanted to come down to the earth, and they wanted wives like they see the man, but the man ain't like them. The man made in their image, but they ain't like them. They're eternal beings. So, but they want a house too. So what you have to understand is when they came down and they chose all who they were, the woman they want, they chose them and went into them. Then now they got houses. So that's 200 houses. Let me give you some examples of that, what I'm talking about. The Amorites, one of them, that's a house. You gotta understand that. Just like the difference in me and the Chinese man. See what I'm saying? My children look like me, the Chinese man's children look like him. That's how simple it is. So every one of them giants, they got a whole house. And you can distinguish them because they're gonna look like their daddy look. They ain't the same. That's the whole purpose. The Most High give us flesh bodies to identify. You identify through the body that He gave you, the DNA in the flesh. So anyway, when these angels came down, they got, like I said, they slept with women, and you got 200. Yeah, here you go. Let me tell you. Sidebar. Chapter 11, verse 2. They go here all the time. So he go some of the houses right here. Verse 9. And the Lord said unto me, distress not the Moabites, right? Neither continue with them in battle, for I will not give you their land as a possession, because I have given it to Ar unto the children. See that? Children, that's a house. It's a man over it. Children of Lot. Lot is that's Lot house for possession. Then verse 10, the Eman dwelt there in time past, people great, many, and tall as the Anakim. So this is one of the houses right here. This is a race of giants. They got a daddy. Out of one of those 200 giants. This is a house. The Eman. Then you keep going, and you'll see that it's in Genesis chapter 2. Verse 20. You see Zazimim, they got a daddy. That's another race of giants, another house. Then you go down to 22. And the children of Esau, which were dwelt at Seir, when he destroyed the Harim. That's another house. Giants. This is the purpose they came down. They turn around, they want to be like the man is when the man lesser than them. The man got a house because of his character and his abilities. He lesser. He not a divine being. He died. They don't die. So but they want a house just like them. Anyway, so that's the Horum is another giant house. 22:3. The Avon which dwelt at Hazerim, even Azra, and here go we looking for Captorim. So Captorim, Captor is their daddy. That's another house. This is what we're dealing with. This who is in Egypt. This man right here, he came from Mizraim. So when you look at that word, if you know anything about Egyptology, the house of Ptah is him right here. The house of Ptah. That's him, right? Which came forth out of CAPHTOR. That's his name. So this is what these are, and so now we see that Shinar is Mount Hermon, the land around Mount Hermon. And here go all the families right here. These a lot of the families right here from these giants that came down. And another thing to keep in mind is this after the flood. The 200 angels came down in the book of Enoch. That's before the flood. So they come right back to that same place after the flood. Let me read it. It says, Genesis chapter 6. Like I said, we're fumbling with it. So it says, verse 4, there were giants in the earth. This is before the flood, during the time of Enoch and Jared. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. When the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, that they bore children unto them, and the same became mighty men which are of old. So what's the process? This tells you right here. When the sons of God came down and slept with the women, giants were born. So we tell you also after that. So why are you fumbling with it? Because that means that they came down before the flood. They came down, like Jude said, left their estate, came down, slept with women, got jobs. After the flood, they did the same thing. How we know that? Right here. They all over the place. In Shinar. They came back down. The Bible tells you that right here. Also after that, after the flood, they came back again. That's what Nimrod took them to. Right to the X marked the spot. They went right back to Mount Hermon, but they nicknamed it right here. Powers that be. And gave us this New Testament, gave us this King James Bible. Shinar is Mount Hermon. So anyway, that brings us to what I'm talking about. So we're dealing with CAPHTOR, and we know that Egypt is tied to Mizraim. Egypt ain't tied to Ham, it's tied to Mizraim, which I mean it's giants, the land of the giants, right? Okay, so let's keep going.
Logical and scholastically articles, and I'm going to pull that out today, make it super exciting for us, because today I'm going to tie the biblical CAPHTOR, son of Mizraim, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, into his Egyptian name, aka CAPHTOR. I also show that he is Ptah, the creator god of ancient Egypt, the father of Khnum, the one who
not Ham,
the potter's wheel.
Ham ain't on his daddy.
I use that to prepare the way to show that he is Kothar Wa-Hasis. Who's that? The gentleman from the Ugaritic Baal cycles, where Baal versus Yam the dragon, and Kothar Wa-Hasis is his guy from an island with a forge and brings him great weapons. I'm going to prove that this is this gentleman, the son of.
So this guy right here, he got some information, but all that's happening is when you understand how the Creator works, he said that the Israelites is given to them. They are the oracles of God. But he'll use these people to bring certain information to you to trigger you on information he already dealing with you with. So you see right here, like I said before, Ham ain't none of their daddy. So Ham ain't the project. Ham ain't the progenitor of what's going on in Egypt, and the way what we know about Egypt. It's these giants. Start with Messerine, not Ham. Ham ain't none of it. Ham ain't no giant. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Ham is a 6-day man. He told him get a male and a female from all flesh. So, like I said, the angels came back down after the flood. They came with the Ham's lineage. Right? Okay, keep going.
Mizraim, the son of Ham, the great-grandchild of Noah. And I will use that to start tying in all the other myths. This will tie us into El, Kronos, Zeus, right, Vulcan, Hephaestus, and many more that I haven't popped into yet. Many more from.
So I'm going to show you something on there. I'm going to code it, right? So these, what you come to find out when you start following this, it's giants everywhere. We talking about when the spies came into the land of Israel, they said they look like grasshoppers compared to the giants. So go look at that. Look at when you stand outside and upside an ant, or you stand outside, you go outside and stand upside a grasshopper. How much greater and bigger and taller that you are than a grasshopper. So the people that we read in here, that we thinking they some kind of mythical. I mean, not mythical, but esoteric. They don't really exist. No, these giants. This is where it started at, when they started giving these giants God status. That was one of the reasons why the Most High had to destroy them. People started worshiping these giants and then giving them characteristics like the Most High and like the angels in heaven. They started giving, and that's what they wanted. They were seeking after that. They were seeking after that to be called a God. So when we looking at when he say Baal and all that, it's these giants. So check it out.
From the Egyptian set of myths, because like I said, one God can have many names in the same culture for different attributes, for different periods of time, and another culture can have the same list for him, but be very difficult to transcribe. So we have a lot of sources that we can pull from, but I pull from just a few today, and I'm going to try to keep it short, succinct, to the point, and exciting for you. So hold on, it's going to be exciting and a deluge of information. God bless you. Let's go. Bye.
So, like I said before, remember what?
Have you heard about
when Alexander divided up his kingdom, right? He divided his kingdom up into his 4 generals. So, what did Ptolemy do when he went to Egypt? Make him a god. He ain't no angel or nothing. He went there. He wanted to be a god. That's where it all started at, right there. These giants start creating that. We're gonna see that in a minute, but he went there, Ptolemy went and wanted them to make him a god. So it's a process of how to make a god. They're giving them these characteristics like Ptolemy, which is Serapis, breathe life in the man. That's God status. But he ain't no God. This is what's pissing the Lord of hosts off. We don't have the understanding on it. But anyway, check it out. Play a little bit more of this.
That came out of the flood on this side of the flood. And that went from Mount Ararat in Turkey down to Sumer and then spreading after the Tower of Babel incident. So if the Bible is true, we'll see that a lot of these mythologies that we're looking at will follow that characteristic, and I've found that to be true, and so has all of history and geography, even though they often try to change the names and make it difficult to compare to the Bible. But we're breaking it apart, thanks be to God, with the internet that we have, and that's been the big difference. So today, and for the next few series, we'll be focused on CAPHTOR, the son of Mizraim, who's the son of Ham, who's the son of Noah. Why will we be doing that? Because I found mounds, gigantic mountains, of evidence that are linking him to the foundation in the earliest times of Crete and Byblos, Lebanon. and Memphis, Egypt. These same characters seem to be tied, and they seem to be tied into some way with CAPHTOR, or CAPHTOR's father, Mizraim, and their power struggles with like Cush and Nimrod. That fight and the struggle over the power structure in Egypt seems to be where the story of Osiris, Dionysus, all these original myths come out of, is these false cults that were created in Egypt by men stealing stories from the pre-flood and proclaiming themselves as gods.
Okay, there it is. So we see right here what's going on. But now I want to go to the meat. We're going to see if this don't add up. Okay? Let me get my, yeah, here we go. So I read this before too, but like I said, it's got another take on it, which is good. Jasher chapter 8. I'm gonna start there. This is when Noah was. Like I said, we know that Noah was the one when the star went across the sky. You know, the so-called Star of Bethlehem, but it actually happened when Abraham was born. When you understand the significance of Abraham, they took that story out so that you won't know it was Abraham. And they took that story and put it on JC, and they concocted him. That's how you make a god. Like I said, this is where it started at, right here. So I'm gonna start reading in chapter 8 of Jasher, right? It says it was in the ninth. It was in the night that Abraham was born, that all the servants of terror and all the wise men, right? These giants. Keep in mind, all the wise men of Nimrod. He a giant. His conjurers that came and ate and drank in the house of terror, and they rejoiced with him on that night. So notice right here, we're reading over it again. House of terror, terror house, terror man, right? House of terror, right? 22. And when all the wise men and the conjurers went out from the house of terror, they lifted up their eyes toward heaven that night to look at the stars, and they saw, and behold, behold, a very large star came from the east and ran in the heavens, and he swallowed up the 4 stars from the 4 sides of the heavens. Right? So this is when it actually happened. They took that story and put it on JC. Okay? And all the wise men of the king and his conjurers were astonished at the sight. And the sages understood this matter, and they knew its import. And they said to each other, this only betokens the child that has been born to terror this night, who will grow up, be fruitful, multiply, and possess all the earth, and he and his children forever, and he and his seed that will slay great kings, these giants. Like I said, this word king is synonymous with a giant. So great kings and inherit their lands, right? And the wise men and conjurers went home that night, and in the morning, all these wise men and conjurers rose up early and assembled in an appointed house. And they spoke and said each to the other, behold, the sight that we saw last night is hidden from the king, Nimrod, and has not been made known to him. And should this all this happening during the time of Genesis chapter 11? Okay, and should this thing get known to the king in the latter days, he will say to us, why do you have concealed this matter from me? And then we shall all suffer death. Therefore, now let us go and tell the king the sight in which we saw, and the interpretation thereof. We shall then remain clear. And they did so, and they all went to the king, bowed down to him to the ground, and they said, my king live, may the king live. When we heard that a son was born to Terah, to the son of Nahor, the prince of thy host, we yesternight came to his house and ate and drank and rejoiced with him that night. See that? So another thing I want to show you. Verse 8. They did so, And they all went to the king and bowed down to him, to Nimrod, right, to the ground. And they said, my king, live, may thy live. We heard that a son was born to Terah, the son of Nahor, the prince of the host. So what that tell you? Terah is an Israelite. I mean, not an Israelite, but let me see, Hebrew. Terah is a Hebrew out of Adam's lineage, Noah lineage, and he's second in charge. So you shouldn't be surprised what happened to Mordecai and what happened to Joseph when they brought the second in charge. So right here, Terah is second in charge to Nimrod. Nimrod the king, Terah is the Lord of hosts. See that? Prince of the hosts, of Nimrod hosts, right? It says, and we yesterday came to his house, right? And we ate and drank and rejoiced with him that night. And when the servants went out from the house of Terah to go to our prospective homes to abide there for the night, we lifted up our eyes to heaven and we saw a star, let me see, coming from the east. And the same star ran with great speed and swallowed up four great stars from the four sides of heaven. And the servants were astonished at the sight which they saw and were greatly terrified. And we made our judgment upon the sight, and knew by our wisdom. See that? What wisdom? What they got from the angels. Knew by our wisdom the proper interpretation thereof, that this thing applies to the child that is born of terror, who will grow up and multiply greatly and become powerful and kill all the kings, right? All the king giants of the earth, and inhabited all their lands, he and the sea forever. And now, our Lord and King, behold, we have truly acquainted thee with what have been concerning this child, right? So it seems good to the king to give his father value for this child. We will slay him before he shall grow up and increase in the land, and his evil increased against us, that we and our children perish through all his evil. So let's look at this right here, right? 13. It's Nimrod, he's a giant, right? They the ones that brought the wickedness on earth. So he says, if it seems good to the king to give his father value for the child, you want to buy the child from terror, we will slay him before he grows up and increase in the land, and it's evil. See that? Now, the Hebrews come to the day, and all the things that happen to us, they believe that what we do is evil. See that? It's evil increased against us. See that? That we and our children perish through his evil. Same thing today. But prophecies that we see transpiring now, they evil to them. All the prophecies that we ain't got in the scriptures is evil, because it's pertaining to them, right? Anyway, and the king heard their words, and they seemed good in his sight. See that? Good evil, making good evil, and evil good. And he sent and called for Terah, and Terah came before the king. And the king said to Terah, I have been told that a son was yesterday born to thee, and after this manner was observed in the heavens at his birth. And now therefore give me the child, see that we may slay him before his evil springs up against us, and I will give thee for a value, I will give thee for his value thy house full of silver and gold. And Terah answered the king and said unto him, my lord and king, I have heard thy words, and thy servant shall do all that thy king desired. But my lord and king, I will tell thee what happened to me yesterday, that I may see what advice the king will give his servant, and then I will answer the king upon what he has just spoken. And the king said, speak. And Terah said to the king, Awan, son of Mered, came to me yesterday saying, let me get it right, saying, okay, see, this is worded right, saying, thee silver and gold and straw and provender for its value. And I said, no, hold up. Terah said to the king, Avon and Mildred, came to me yesterday saying, okay, give unto me the great and beautiful horse that the king gave thee, and I will give thee silver and gold, straw, and provender for its value. And I said to him, wait till I see the kings concerning thy words, and behold whether the king said that I will do. And now, my Lord and King, behold, I have made this thing known unto thee, and advice which my king will give unto his servant that I will follow. And the king heard the words of Terah, and his anger was kindled, and he considered him in the light of a fool. And the king answered Terah, and he said to him, art thou so silly and ignorant, or deficient in understanding to do this thing, to give thy beautiful horse for silver and gold, or even for a straw and provender? Art thou so short of silver and gold that thou shouldest do this thing, because thou canst not obtain straw or provender to feed thy horse? And what is silver and gold to thee, or straw and provender? Because he's saying, why is this straw? He got Terah is second in charge. He got all kind of gold and silver. Why would you give this great horse that you got away when you got all kind of silver and gold, right? So he said that thou shouldest give away thy fine horse, which I gave thee, like in which there is none to be had on the whole earth. And the king left off speaking, and Terah answered the king, saying, saying, like unto this has the king spoken to his servant. I beseech thee, my Lord and King, what is this which thou didst say unto me, saying, give thy son that ye may slay him, and I will give thee silver and gold for his value. What shall I do with silver and gold after the death of my son? Who shall inherit me? Surely then at my death the silver and the gold will return to my king who gave it. And when the king heard the words of Terah, the parable which he brought concerning the king, it grieved him greatly, and he was vexed. See that? Like I said, go to the New Testament. We vexed. He gave us the New Testament. So right here, when Terah gave him that understanding, now he vexed. It says, vexed at the thing, and his anger burned within him. And Terah saw that the anger of the king was kindled against him, and he answered the king, saying, all that I have in the king's power, whatever the king desired to do to his servant, that let him do. Yea, even my son, he is the king's power. Thou value in exchange. He said to his two brothers that are older than he. And the king said to Terah, no, but I will purchase thy younger son for a price. And Terah answered the king, saying, I beseech thee, my lord, and the king, to let thy servant speak a word before thee, and let the king hear the word of his servant. And Terah said, let my king give me 3 days till I consider this matter within myself and consult with my family the words of the king. And he pressed the king greatly to agree to this, right? So we going somewhere, right? It says, and the king hearkened to Terah, and he did so, and he gave him 3 days' time. And Terah went out from the king's presence, and he came home to his family and spoke to them all the words of the king, and the people were greatly afraid. And it was in the 3rd day that the king sent to Terah, saying, send me thy son for a price, as I spoke to thee. And shouldst thou not do this, I will send and I will slay all thou hast in thy house, so that thou shalt not even have a dog remaining. And terror hastened, as the thing was urgent from the king, and he took a child from one of his servants, which his handmaid had borne to him that day. And terror brought the child to the king and received value for him. And the Lord was with terror in this thing, in this matter, that Nimrod may not cause Abraham's death. And the king took the child from terror, and with all his might dashed his head to the ground, for he thought it had been Abram. And this was concealed from him from that day, and it was forgotten by the king. And it was the will of providence not to suffer Abraham's death. Then Terah took Abraham his son. Check it out. Terah took Abraham his son secretly, together with his mother and nurse, and he concealed them in a cave, and he brought them their provisions monthly. And the Lord was with Abraham. Check it out. The Lord was with Abraham in the cave, and he grew. And Abraham was in the cave 10 years. And the king and the princes and the soothsayers and the sages thought that the king had killed Abraham. Now here we go. This ties into the lesson right here. I had to read that to read this. Chapter 9. And Haran, check it out. Haran, the son of Terah, Abraham's oldest brother. So this Terah is Abraham's oldest brother. Terah is Lot's daddy. Took a wife in those days. And Haran was 39 years old when he took her. See that? Took her. And the wife of Haran conceived and bore a son, called his name Lot. This is where Lot come from. So Abraham is Lot's uncle. Now check out verse 3. And she again bore a daughter and called her name Milcah. And she again conceived and bore a daughter, and she called her name Sarah. So Sarah and Lot is brothers. Let that frame out. Sarah and Lot is brothers. Haran was 42 years old when he begot Sarah, which was in the 10th year of the life of Abraham. And in those days, Abraham and his mother and nurse went out from the cave, as the king and his subjects had forgotten the affair of Abraham. Now here we go. We're going to be getting into the meat. So, verse 5. When Abraham came out from the cave, he went to Noah and Shem. People say, Abraham came out of the cave, he went to Noah and his son Shem, and he remained with them to learn the instructions of the Lord and his ways. And no man knew where Abraham was. And Abraham served Noah and Shem, his son, for a long time. So notice what he said, right? Ain't no Ham in Japhet. Ain't no Ham in Japhet. See that? It says, and when Abraham came out of the cave, he went to Noah and his son Shem. That's Noah's house. Well, it's Ham and Japhet is. See that? And he remained with them to learn the instructions of the Lord and his ways. And no man knew where Abraham was. And Abraham served Noah and Shem, his son, for a long time. So, with Japhet and Ham don't know the knowledge of the Most High? Come on. So anyway, so it says, here you go again. Abraham was in Noah's house. There you go. Abraham was in Noah's house 39 years. And Abraham knew the Lord from 3 years old. And he went in the ways of the Lord until the day of his death, as Noah and Shem, see that, had taught him. And all the sons of the earth in those days greatly transgressed against the Lord. And they rebelled against him, and they served other gods. Here we go right here, what I was telling you about. these giants, Baal and all these people, these are beings, right? So it says, and all the sons of the earth in those days greatly transgressed the Lord, and they rebelled against him, and they served other gods. See that? And they fought, and they forgot the Lord who had created them in the earth. So we know that's the 6th-day man. Take you right to Ham. And the inhabitants of which could neither speak or hear nor deliver. And the sons of men served them. See that? This is where it started at right here. They're going to tell you that in a minute. The sons of men served them, and they became their gods. See that? So these giants, right? These are gods we're reading about. Baal, Ashtaroth, all that. Right here. It says, and sons of men served them, and they became their gods. In verse 7. And the king and all his servants and terror. Look at that. The king, that's Nimrod. All his servants, that's the giants, and terror out of Abraham's lineage with all his household. Terror and all his household were then the first. This is where it started. See that? Terror, Nimrod, and all his servants, and terror with all his household were then the first of those that served gods of wood and stone. Right here, where it started at. Tower of Babel. See that? 8. Terror had 12 gods of large size, made of wood and stone after the 12 months of the year. We still in that. We still dealing with the 12 months with names from gods. We in the midst of that right now, right? So it says 12 months of the year, and he served each one monthly. That's what we're doing right now. Yeah, that's how big that is. And every month, see that? Every month, Terah would bring his meat offering and drink offering to his gods. Thus did Terah all his days. We're doing that right now. Chew on that. 9. And all the generations were wicked in the sight of the Lord, and they thus made every man his God, but they forsook the Lord who had created them. Right? Then notice what it says. The Lord who had created them. Right? So let's look at that right quick before I forget. So we know Genesis 6. Let me read it again. Okay, Genesis 6 says, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Okay, it says, connect these dots, right? So 126 says, and God said, these are Elohim, the angels, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowls of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Right? Verse 27. So God created these angels, 7 angels. Elohim created man in his own image. In the image created he them, male and female. So now we see what he said over here in Joshua. It says, in this Joshua 9 and verse 9, and all that generation were wicked in the sight of the Lord, and thus they made every man his God. This is 6-day man. But they forsook the Lord who had created them. See that? And there was no man found in those days. No man found in those days in the whole earth who knew the Lord. For they served each man his own God, except Noah. Look at this. Except Noah and his household. And we know what Noah's household is, him and Shem. His household and all those who were under his counsel knew the Lord in those days. And Abraham, the son of Terah, check it out. You tell me if this ain't the same thing now. Abraham, right? He told you there ain't no other man on the earth. They all left the Lord, right? 11. Abraham, the son of Terah. While all this bullshit going on, Abraham and the son of Terah was waxing great in those days in the house of Noah. And no man knew it. And the Lord was with him. I think they what's happening right now. You got folks waxing great with the knowledge of the Most High. And they don't even know it. Come on. Nothing new under the sun. And the Lord gave Abraham, look at this. The Lord gave Abraham an understanding heart. See that? And he knew all the works of that generation were vain, and that all the gods were vain. See that? And were of no avail. And Abraham saw the sun shining upon the earth, and Abraham said unto himself, surely now this sun that shines upon the earth is God, and him will I serve. And Abraham served the sun that day, and he prayed to him. And when the evening came, the sun set as usual, and Abraham said unto himself, surely this cannot be God. And Abraham still continued to speak within himself, who is he who made the heavens and the earth, who created the earth, and where is he? See where the focus at? Understand who his God is. And we know that he went to Shem house. He went to Noah and Shem house. Shem told him who the God of Israel was, right? Okay, that his father, God of his father. So let me get on down here to let me get on here to chapter. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah, here you go. Let me read this. I gotta read it. So I'm gonna start at 17. Abraham saw the star. I read that. 18. In the morning, when it was light and the sun shone on the earth, as usual, Abraham saw all things that the Lord God had made upon the earth. And Abraham said unto himself, surely these are not gods that made the earth and all mankind, but these were the servants of God. And Abraham remained in the house of the Lord and Noah, in the house of Noah, and there knew the Lord and his ways, and he served the Lord all the days of his life. And all the generation forgot the Lord and served other gods of wood and stone and rebelled against them. So like I said before, what we dealing with today, it ain't nothing new under the sun. So Abraham was seeking the truth. He was seeking who the Lord was, and the Lord led him right where the source was at, where the information was at. Led him, sent him right to Noah and Shem house. You can't miss him. So 20. And King Nimrod reigned securely. This is what I was telling you about Armathal in Genesis. Nimrod and Armathal is the same person. And Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was one tongue and the words of union. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men took counsel together. Here you go. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men, these mighty men, took counsel together. Put, right, Nazarene, Cush, Canaan with their families. And they said to each other, come, let us build ourselves a city and in it a strong tower. This Ham's descendants, and its top reaches to heaven, and we will make ourselves famed. So that this is the other side of what I just read in Genesis chapter 11. So that we may reign upon the whole earth. See, they 6-day man. They don't supposed to reign, but now they want to reign. So it says, so that we may reign upon the whole earth, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us, that we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not become scattered over the earth on account of their wars. And they all went before the king, and they told the king these words, and the king agreed to with them in this affair, and he did so. And here you go. All the families assembled, consisting of about 600,000 men, and they went to seek, here you go, they went to seek an extensive piece of ground to build their city and their tower, and they sought it in the whole earth. And they found none like the valley to the east of the land of Shinar. That's Mount Hermon, about 2 days' walk. And they journeyed there, and they dwell there. See that? So these Ham descendants, Cush, Nazarene, Put, and Canaan. 25. And the building of the tower was under them a transgression and a sin. And they began to build it. And while they were building against the Lord God of heaven, they imagined in their hearts to war against him and to sin in the heaven. It's Ham descendants now. And all these people and all the families divided themselves into 3 parts. And the first said, we will ascend into heaven, fight against him. The second said, we will ascend into heaven, place our gods. See that? We go to drama right here. We will ascend into heaven, place our gods there, and serve them. Go to JC. That's what they've done. And the third part said, we will ascend into heaven, smite him with a bow and a spear. So they smote him, but they denigrated him, right? And God knew all their works and all their evil thoughts. And he saw the city and the tower which they had were building. And when they were building, they built themselves a great city and a very high and strong tower. And on account of its height, the mortar and the brick did not reach the builders in their ascent to it until those who went up had completed a full year. And after that, they reached to the builders. They gave it to the builder and gave him the mortar and the brick. Thus was it done daily. And behold, these ascended, and the others, they ascended, and the others descended. Go to the tower, go to Bethel. They're trying to duplicate Bethel, what Jacob saw, Jacob's ladder. They ascended and descended the whole day. And if a brick should fall from their hands and be broken, they would all weep over it. And if a man fell and died, none of them looked to him. They didn't give a damn. And the Lord knew their thoughts. And it came to pass when they were building, they cast the arrows toward heaven, and all the arrows fell upon them, filled with blood. And when they saw them, they said unto each other, surely we have slain all those that are in heaven. And this was from the Lord in order to cause them to err, in order to destroy them from off the face of the ground. And they built the tower and the city, and they did this thing daily until many days and years had elapsed. And God said, check it out. And God said to the 70 angels, okay, who stood foremost before him, to those who were near to him, saying, come, let us descend and confuse their languages, that one man shall not understand the language of his neighbor. And they did so unto them. And from that day forward, following, they forgot each man his neighbor's tongue, and they could not understand the speech of one tongue. And when the builders took from the hands of the neighbor lime or stone, which he did not order, the builders would cast it away and throw it upon his neighbor, that he would die. And they did so many days, and they killed many of them in this manner. And the Lord smote the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and their design. Those who said, we will ascend into heaven and serve our gods became like apes and elephants. And those who said, we will smite the heavens with arrows, the Lord killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbor. And the 3rd division of those who said, we shall ascend to heaven and fight against him, the Lord scattered them throughout the earth. And those who were left among them, when they knew and understood the evil which was coming upon them, they forsook the building, and they all became scattered upon the face of the earth. And they ceased being building the city and the tower. Therefore, he called that place Babel, For there the Lord confounded the languages of the whole earth. Behold, it was at the east of the land of Shinar. So he's telling you right here where it was at. It was at Mount Hermon, east of the land of Shinar. It says, and as to the tower which the sons of men built, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up 1/3 part thereof, and the fire descended from heaven, burned up another third, and the other third is left unto this day, and it is a part of which was a law, and its circumstances is 3 days walk. The circumference is 3 days walk. And many of the sons of men died in the tower, and people without number. Okay, so it says many people died without number. Now I want to get to this right here. Okay, this chapter 10. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, chapter 10 says, and Peleg the son of Eber died in those days, in the 48th year of the life of Abraham, son of Terah. And all the days of Peleg were 239 years. And when the Lord had scattered the sons of men on account of their sin at the tower, behold, they spread forth in many divisions, and all the sons of men were dispersed into all four corners of the earth. And all the families became each according to his language, in his land, and in his city. And the sons of men built many cities according to their families in all the places where they went, and throughout all the earth where the Lord had scattered them. And some of them built cities in places from which they afterwards was extrapolated, and they called these cities after their own names or the names of their children or other particular occurrences. And the sons of Japhet, the sons of Noah, went and built themselves cities in the places where they were scattered, and they called all their cities after their names. And the sons of Japhet were divided upon the face of the earth in many divisions and languages. Okay, going down. Let me get to. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I'm in chapter 11. I just want to read this part right here. It says, and I told you earlier, Nimrod is Armathal in chapter 15 of Genesis. So it says, we just saw that he destroyed the Tower of Babel, scattered everybody. Now we're in chapter 11. Nimrod, son of Cush, was still, see that? Nimrod, the son of Cush, was still in the land of Shinar. He ain't dead. That's who Armathal is. In Genesis 15, verse 2. Or 14, verse 2. And he reigned over it and dwelt there. And he built cities in the land of Shinar, Tower of Babel. And there the names of the 4 cities which he built, and he called their names after their occurrences. So that's where he get his name from. Armathal means he who survived the Tower of Babel. That's what Armathal means when you go search it out. So it says the names of the occurrences that happened to them in the building of the tower. And he called, so he tells you the names and what they mean. Okay? So one more thing before we close out. I want to show you how it's all add up. So now you're still dealing with Ham, right? So now I'm in 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Okay? This pertaining to what I've said about the 6-day man, 8-day man, and we know that who Japhet is. Japhet is Cain's descendant. So let me go ahead and read this right quick. And you can figure it out now. This is you can search it out on your own. This is 2nd Ezra. Let me see if I'm get the 1st Ezra. Let me see. Yeah, 2nd Ezra. Let me get it. 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Okay. Here we go. 2nd Ezra chapter 6. I'm gonna start at verse 53. Remember who the 6-day man is. But on the 6th day, this is the Israelites talking to the Lord. It says, but on the 6th day, you commanded the earth and created and created before you cattle and wild animals and reptiles and over them Adam. It's the 6th day man. See that? But on the 6th day, you commanded the earth to create before you cattle, wild animals, reptiles, and over them Adam. So what Adam it is 2 Adams. You got the man called Adam, the man Adam, then you got mankind. Just like you got Israel, a man called Israel, you got a nation called Israel. So this is 6th day man right here. Over them Adam, whom you appointed leader over all the works that you made. And from him we all are descended, whom you have chosen to be your people. I have said all this before you, Lord, because you have said that it was for our sake that you made this firstborn world. Now here you go. But as for the rest of the nations, see that? These Gentiles, rest of the people, which are sprung from Adam, you have said that they are nothing, right? And are like spittle, like spit. And you have compared their abundance to a drop in the bucket. But here you go. This is what he's telling you. And now, Lord, behold, these nations that are counted as nothing rule over us. So what are you talking about? Ham. The giants came, the angels came back, created these giants. And now they ruling over them. We got giants in Mesrine, giants in Cush, Nimrod the giant, you got Canaanites, they're all giants. So he's saying, you know, in the beginning, when you created all this, you had these people that was nothing, they was considered nothing. But now they're ruling over us. See that? So it says, and now, Lord, behold, these nations that are accounted as nothing rule over us and devour us, but we are people whom you call your firstborn, only begotten, chosen, and beloved, and delivered into their hands. If it was for our sake that the world was created, why do we not possess the world as our inheritance? How long shall this be? So there it is, right there. And like I said, all this stuff is me. Ain't nowhere around King James. Any questions or comments? Let me see this. Okay. Kitchen, D-Dan Giants calls the I am at the end of the yeah, correct. Yeah, so when you see that I am, that's a denote, that means it's plural. So it's not just one, it's more than one. It was like El. El is one angel, but Elohim is more than one angel. Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments before we go? Okay, yeah. So like I said before, the video I was playing was CAPHTOR, son of Noah, God of Egypt and Greece. So you can go check that out. And the channel is Life, Travel, and Words. And then I was reading out of Jasher. I started at chapter 8 with birth of Abraham. And I also went to 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, starting at verse 45, I think. Yeah. So with that being said, nobody have no questions or comments. We're gonna close out. Shalom. Shalom and another shalom.
Shalom.